Welcome to the Valareso Capital community, where we discuss the stock market and trading strategies to become a consistently profitable trader and investor. Hey traders, welcome back to Valareso Capital. On today's video, we're going to go through the weekly watch list and we're also going to take a look at the market update. I'm also going to share with you the current positions that I have on, and I will also share those setups with you. That way you can understand the mentality, the psychology, and also the mechanical setups that I'm trading right now. Remember guys that this video is for informational purposes only, is based just on my personal opinion and is not financial advice. And I know that I didn't make a video last week. I was kind of busy. I completely was unable to do the video, but we're back right now. And the funny thing is that I had a really amazing read of the market last week. I was actually looking for that 4,200 level to hold on the SPX. But I was sharing all the updates on my Twitter account. So if you have not followed yet my Twitter account, remember to do that. That is at Valareso Capital on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. So let's just jump right here into the markets. I'm gonna start. Let me just make myself a little bit smaller here, but I'm gonna start with the SPX, and then we're gonna jump into all the fun stuff, looking at setups and things that are gonna be actionable for next week. Remember guys that the purpose of these videos is to create a roadmap for next week. So basically we're looking for the path of least resistance going into next week. That way we can execute and gain some edge for the upcoming week in the market. So the first chart that I wanna take a look here, and you can see that I'm back at using the kind of market mid candles that we have on the charts. I actually like these candles better. Of course, the other type of candles, they provide a lot of information about the psychology of the market and all that kind of stuff. But I just find it pretty easy to understand these candles. It's easier for me to see the colors, to understand what is the relationship between the candles and the wave. So I just prefer using these ones, and I actually like how the charts look. Is way easier to understand and to analyze. So let's start here with the SPX. So what actually happened last week? If we go back to the video that I made 2 weeks ago, we were talking about shorting a bounce. But of course, that bounce was the one that we had right here. So we actually had the opportunity to short that bounce, and then we came all the way to 4,200. I was actually looking for a little bit more of a pullback that was actually going to take the SPX all the way to this breakout level right here. I was actually looking for a retest of this breakout level somewhere around 4,195. That was actually kind of the level that I was looking, perhaps kind of an undercut below that 200 daily moving average, and that undercut would probably had a lot of people leaning into that bearish camp a lot. So we have to understand that a lot of people was already bearish, a lot of participants were already bearish, and you can see this by the put call ratio, whatever metric you're using, or you're using the name number, which was actually pretty low. So the path of least resistance continues to work as long as everyone is not on the same boat, and that's exactly what happened last week. The path of least resistance was to the downside, and if we keep things pretty simple, the path of least resistance, right, we were below that declining 21 exponential moving average. But if everyone is on the same boat, there's not anyone else to sell to, right? So that's when we get these very strong moves to the upside, and you can call them short covering rallies, a reversion to the 21 exponential moving average, a reversion to the mean, whatever you want to call it, but this is what's happening. Now, what is going to be the expectation for next week? My expectation at the beginning was looking for a retest of this 21 exponential moving average wave, and then perhaps a rejection. However, given the size of this candle, you can see the giant candle that we had on Friday. Given the size of this candle, given the fact that we already tested this 4,200 level, I think that we have room to squeeze bears a little bit higher. So we have to pay attention when we get this kind of really big candles, because this is a gigantic candle, right? If we take a look at this candle right here, this was a small candle in relationship to this one, right? So my expectation is that if you ask yourself, what happened to all the people that were short right here? all those people are losing money. Well, probably not all of them, but the majority of participants are losing money. You can see right here that if we take a look at the anchor VWAP from that level right there, you can see that we are already trading above those anchor VWAPs, right? We're trading above these anchor VWAPs right here. We're trading above these anchor VWAPs right here, meaning that the path of least resistance from this little base that we have right here is actually to the upside. So I'm expecting more short covering rally, and the target is going to be pretty simple. I'm looking for a close of this gap right here, which probably will take the SPX to 4,400. We have a psychological level, we have a gap that haven't been filled. We also do have an anchor VWAP from this low right here, so perhaps that's going to act as resistance. And if you are a student of Fibonacci, if you actually run an extension from this level right here to this level right here, then you're going to get the 1618 extension right at that 4,400 level. So I'm actually looking for that level to act as resistance. Perhaps we're going to get that move in 1 day. Perhaps we're going to get that move in 2 days. I don't know how long it's going to take, but that's the expectation for next week. And given that the path of least resistance right now is going to be to that 4,400 level, then I'm going to expect some participation from individual stocks. And those are the names that we're going to take a look right now. So that's what's happening in the SPX. And if you want to take a look at, let me see if there's anything else that I can show you regarding the markets. Let me see. Let's take a look at the RSP, which is the equal weighted. If you take a look at the equal weighted, I think that you can also use this one as a clue of where the market is going to go. You can see right here that the 21 exponential moving average is way above in comparison to the SPX. So perhaps the equal weighted 500 the equal weighted S&P 500 is probably going to test that wave, and that will take the SPX to 4,400. So you can also use this chart to find levels, very important levels for the market. Now let's jump into the setups and the fun stuff right here. So first of all, I'm going to show you, let me first show you the stocks that I have right now. And this is going to be a screenshot that I recently shared with the Twitter community. So this is basically the stocks that I'm holding right now. You can see that I have a net, Meta, NVDA, Spotify, Tesla, and BRT. You can see right here the average price that I got into these stocks. Of course, the net liquidation value of each of the positions, and of course the unrealized P&L. So you can take a screenshot of this or whatever you want, because now I'm going to show you the actual setups, and those are going to be the setups that I'm going to be looking to manage next week. And then of course I'm going to share a couple of setups that are also actionable if you don't have any exposure right now. So let's start here so we don't take very long in this video. So let's start here with BRT. BRT, right? We don't need to know anything about the company. We have just to focus on the setup, right? And if you look at fundamentals, that's fine, of course. But just from a technical perspective, you can see right here that we are already trading above this anchor VWAP from 40.41, which means that buyers are back in control. We have a squeeze and we also have positive momentum. So I'm looking for more upside. My target is going to be the 1272 extension, Fibonacci extension from this high to this low right here. So somewhere around this 42 level. That's going to be the first target for BRT. If we take a look at a net, this is actually a very amazing setup. You can see right here that we had this very small base consolidation. You can call it a range, you can call it a little base, whatever you want. But the fact that we are already trading above the anchor VWAP from the highs means that buyers are back in control. We have a squeeze, we have positive momentum, and this one is looking great. First target is going to be a retest of these highs, and then of course the second target is going to be that Fibonacci extension somewhere around 205. That's going to be for a net, which is looking pretty cool. Let's take a look at Meta. I have been talking a lot about Meta, and I have shared this setup for a couple of times on my Twitter account. And you can see right here that Meta is finally moving out of this range, pretty similar to what we saw in a net. So always look for those ranges, especially when they're trading above that 21 exponential moving average wave, and that's represented by the black candles on my chart. Amazing that to see that the momentum is also above 50. We have a squeeze, and I think this move is probably gonna be pretty strong. But of course, the first target is gonna be somewhere around this 320 level. And if you start looking at my entry levels for the positions that I just showed you, you're gonna see that Meta, I got my position somewhere around this 300 level. So I always like to get my positions as close to that 21 exponential moving average as possible. That way you're able to capture that move. Because if you're buying Meta in this breakout right here, right, the risk reward is actually not pretty good. But if you buy it right here, there's a lot of upside and there's very little downside if you use that 21 exponential moving average wave as your stop. So loving Meta right here, looking pretty good. Let's take a look at Spotify, and it's pretty similar, right? If you actually take a screenshot of these setups, you're gonna find that they're very similar. And that's the thing, right? You want to find an edge, and then you just want to consistently trade that edge and just focus on the setups, because that's the name of the game. You can see right here, same thing, squeeze, momentum above 50. You can see that momentum in relationship to the 21 exponential moving average wave, it's positive, meaning that the candles continue to close above that exponential moving average wave. And then this is starting to move out of this range. And of course, the level to get this position is as close to that 21 exponential moving average as possible. First target is going to be a retest of these highs, and then you can start looking at those Fibonacci extension. That's going to be Spotify. Then we have Tesla. I think that the pullback that we had on Tesla on Friday was a beautiful gift. You can see that Tesla pulled back to that 50 daily moving average, and also this yellow anchor VWAP is the anchor VWAP from earnings. You can see that we pulled back to that anchor VWAP, and we also pulled back to the anchor VWAP from the lows. So there was a lot of support in Tesla, and you can also see that we actually pulled back to the anchor VWAP from this low as well. So a lot of support in Tesla. We pull back to that level. Tesla is moving up. Momentum is above the 50 line, which is awesome. And then of course the candles are above the 21 exponential moving average. Let's see if we can get a move going into earnings, perhaps all the way to 280 right here. So Tesla is also looking pretty nice. And then we have NVDA, and I love the move that we had on NVDA on Friday. I actually think that NVIDIA is going back to 500. We have the setup right here. You can see that we have momentum above zero. Also in the MACD, we're starting to develop a squeeze. And you can see right here that we are back above the anchor VWAP from this low right here. And we are back above from the anchor VWAP of earnings, which happened to be also that blow off top that we had somewhere around 500. So right now, on average, all the participants who bought that day on NVIDIA chasing that move are finally starting to break even. So I think that there's no reason for NVIDIA to stop right here. Of course, the first target is going to be somewhere around this 470 level, which is a gap that we have open. And then of course, if we get above that, next level is going to be 500 in NVIDIA. And if we happen to form kind of a cup and handle base here, I think that's going to be pretty amazing for an end of the year rally in NVDA. So those are going to be the setups that I have exposure on. And if you want to go back and check my entry levels, you're going to see that most of my entries are as close to the 21 exponential moving average as possible, because that's the best way to get an amazing risk reward. And you can make profits. You can make great profits if you just follow that pretty simple setup. So these are going to be the setups that I'm also going to be watching for next week. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm just going to go through Coin, which is my favorite one, but you can take a look at Coin, XPEV, MU, and INTC. So those are going to be a couple of setups that I think that are also actionable, but let me just cover Coin right here. And the reason that I want to cover Coin is because I think that Bitcoin, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin is probably going to get a move above this 200 daily moving average. You can see that the 200 daily moving average in Bitcoin continues to act as resistance, but the fact that we are making these higher lows and we are starting to respect the wave makes me think that Bitcoin wants to go higher here. And if that happens, Coin is probably going to follow that move. And also, given that the SPX is kind of finding a bottom, then that is also going to benefit this setup right here. So basically, what's the setup on Coin? Pretty simple. Momentum above 50. We have a squeeze with momentum above 0. And then of course you can see right here that this candle on Friday reclaimed the wave, meaning that we close above the high of the 21 exponential moving average wave. And that opens an opportunity to buy any pullback to the middle of the wave, and then looking for a retest of this 86 level, and then perhaps we're gonna get a little bit more, but this setup is looking pretty nicely. So that's gonna be it for the video, guys. If you found any value on this information, remember to like and also to subscribe to the channel. That way you can get these videos as soon as they are available. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I will see you on future videos. Have an amazing weekend. Bye bye.